Well, she's attending business. She's not around, and the invitation's only for tonight, and I think that's the only way on the ship. So we gotta do it with or without her.
Well, how big is this thing anyway?
I don't know. To be honest with you.
What does the letter say from, your lover?
Not my lover. A long time ago. Long time ago. And it wasn't even her. This is the High Inquisitor, not Black.
Oh, you're still having that spat with your wife?
Yes, because I know that I'm right. I don't know what she believes. I'm sorry. Anyway, all I'm saying is I gotta do this so that I can not be Junior Inquisitor anymore and maybe get Inquisitor back. Are you with me? Or do I have to do this myself?
Why do you want to be an Inquisitor? Why can't you join up with that man Shun and be an awesome mage?
Well, I mean, I don't know. You know, my duty, I want to clean the streets, do something good for my life, and we still have so many mysteries, to solve.
I do that now, and I'm a paladin. I'm not an Inquisitor. Byron does it, and he's just a local guy done good.
Yeah, but it it's hard to, you know, I guess do good anywhere unless you have a badge. It seems that city guard don't like anybody
But
to interfere.
that badge is only good in this city. You can go to other cities and do good. You don't need that badge to do it.
I think he just likes to.
No,
I had a
What he
friend
got.
that had the exact same problem until the city guard locked him up.
well, and that's exactly why I'm an inquisitor. See, we can't be vigilantes. We have to be registered. If we're gonna fight crime, we gotta be registered. So that's why I'm here.
What?
Not bad.
Sam, I look at it this way. If he's in, we got a guy that's in.
I just want to make sure he's got his heart into it because I don't be an Inquisitor.
I look at it as an opportunity. He'll be able to hear things and clue us in on if there's anything going on.
Yeah, that's true. I just don't want to risk everybody's lives over a passing interest.
Regardless
Well,
of what Nick's interests are, this is about Zara getting that death ring off of her.
Yeah, that's very true. We need to go take care of that.
So what's it look like?
I'm just more.
it's like a ring. Is that what you're trying to ask? Like a ring on her finger.
No, the thing that we're.
Oh, I have no idea.
It,
Here, well, this
It's-
note says it's a model in the shape of a manta ray.
Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, shape of manta ray. Ah, yeah, I see it. I look at the note and I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
A,
I
meta,
think my mind is slipping.
a mechanical manta ray.
A living, operating one. Gotcha.
I don't know if it's living, but it's mechanical. And I most likely probably be in his quarters or somewhere safe.
All right, well, let's get everybody dressed up and get prepared. We need to go down to the docks and check out the boat yard, the boat docks, and see what's going on.
Well, looks like I have to go shopping.
Yeah, let's take care of anything that anybody has to do before we go down there. And when we go down there, let's hit it hard.
Let's
Anyone
try
else
not
want to
kill
go with
anyone.
me to get some fancier clothes for the occasion then?
I will digress from that path. I feel like my paladin garments are enough to get me through anyway.
The note also says that he doesn't trust adventurers, so I would suggest that we don't look like adventurers going into this occasion.
I look like a holy man.
You look like an adventurer with that armor on.
Broomhild.
Yes, but my armor comes with a nice holy symbol.
Zito, I think he's gonna need some work. We'll have to figure out
I've
some way to
got-
make him look.
I've
And
got
Broomhild.
acolyte robes I could wear.
That is more what you're talking about. Maybe put like your holy symbol in front. Cover your armor up. Just make it look like you're rich. You know, I don't know. Look like a noble.
I'll wear my my acolyte robes, my holy symbol, and I'll keep my hammer on, but I'll wear it low slung like it's just for ornament.
Yeah, and walk around with a stick up your ass. You know, pretend you're all high and mighty. Yeah.
I'm gonna pretend like I'm you and you're holding your badge up.
Yeah, you could say that. See, there we go. There we go.
And Linda can go in with you. Help guide you through the etiquette.
Oh, that's true. But, Byron, this is your last chance. Are you sure you want to bring her in on this? It's going to be dangerous.
It's what she likes, and might as well give her a try.
And it may not be dangerous. This plan might go perfectly well. You know,
Yeah, well, that's what they always say, and then something always happens.
well, yeah, you're right about that.
So,
All right.
so Nick, do you want to head down to the dock and see what these ships look like?
Yeah. That's first. And then I'll meet you. I'll meet you outside. I'm gonna go I'm gonna go into my room and put my armor on.
Okay.
And my robe over it, that disguise robe.
I think we're gonna have to take Brunhild somewhere to get a dress.
Yep, I think she should go with Zito and get dressed up, get all dolled up.
Sure, I can go with Zito. We can go dress shopping together.
Byron, what are you doing?
I'm the sneak party. I'll be going in through other means.
Yeah, I think you should still dress up anyways, just in case you get caught. You can still pretend like you're in the in crowd.
If they're gonna be scoping everything out all stealthy like, then I probably shouldn't go with them. Zeta, you and Brunhild wants to...
And the more the merrier.
All right, let me go get into my acolyte robes and we'll get ready to go.
Awesome.
So, as I'm understanding that, and Linda is understanding that she is heading off with the you three, while Byron and your rogue friend Nicholas head to the docks by themselves.
Correct. We're gonna case out the place while they go and buy some clothes.
Okay.
That sounds good to me. Get a little bit of a preliminary vision on it.
Well, you know that there are a couple of shops here in Troll Skull Alley. You might be able to find a few things that you need. And Byron and Linda would know this, of course. She's familiar with Troll Skull as well.
Well, good. We'll follow Linda's lead. Linda, lead the way.
Linda nods her head, smile on her face, and she turns around and says, "Okay, well, let's see what Troll Skull has to offer us."
Yes, only the finest dresses.
Lead us to the frills.
And so, as Linda, with a smile on her face, laughing heartily as she opens the door and begins walking down the staircase. The rest of you walk behind her. And she says, oh, let's see, right around the corner, there's a place that you can get armor, there's a place that you can get some furniture worked on, or some wooden bits. There's a magic shop down the way. And then there is the herbalist, but I think she started selling clothing as well.
Well, that sounds like a first stop.
Oh, and there's also the Mr. Trench at the Tiger's Eye. He's a private detective. I don't know if he would be useful in this matter in terms of, but maybe he knows something about what's going on at the docks.
It wouldn't hurt to check.
Byron, and she calls back, says, did you want us to go talk to Mr. Trench? Byron has faded into the shadows. The shadows have silenced everything.
You can stop by his office if you like. I have him looking into a few other things already, but maybe he's up.
Okay. And she disappears down the stairs, blowing you a kiss, and is waiting at the base of the stairs now for her companions. And Byron and Nicholas, you are now by yourselves in the meeting hall. As Nicholas has headed back in after gathering his gear and his outfit.
Also, can I quickly go to a store and get a ton of charcoal?
You can obtain some charcoal from Steam and Steel, actually.
All right, yeah. And how much would that cost?
Well, you'd have to go talk to them, wouldn't you?
All right. Let's go to Steam and Steel.
Okay. Byron, are you following him, or is he going by himself?
If you just want soot to cover yourself, just use the ashes from the fire pit.
I was gonna say you could
coal
just.
and wood there.
There's tons of charcoal in the fireplace.
Okay, then I'm gonna
Using
gather.
charcoal to cook with and wood to burn or keep
Okay.
heat with. So
True, I forgot about that.
I mean, yeah, you've got tons of it. You've got two fireplaces. You got the fireplace that's there in the meeting hall, and you also have the one in the tap room.
Perfect. A endless supply of charcoal. Cool. I'm gonna just get a ton of it and put it in a big bottle.
Okay.
All right, I'm ready to go, Byron.
All right. So Byron and Nicholas are heading down to the docks, while the rest of the party is doing a little shopping mission. So we'll go back to Byron and Nicholas here in a moment. We will continue on as Linda leads you down Troll Skull Alley. And passing out into the alley proper, you can just see the... Could just see the individuals that are working for the gentleman, the dwarven gentleman with the orange beard. They're all milling about now. They're carrying various items in and out of the manor, and working on a few projects outside, building a few pieces. And you can now hear the sounds of the crowd as folk are wandering in from the various alleys, filtering in from the dockwards now. And which shop would you like to go to first?
The one that sells clothing.
Okay. So she begins heading towards, not too far away actually, there's a trio of buildings right next to an L-shaped building that is just south from where the manor is. And as you approach the outside, you can see several herbs and various greenery that are growing out of boxes hanging off chains on the front of the shop. And the woman inside waves to you from outside of the window and smiles. And as you head into the shop, the woman, very, very fair, very thin wood elf with long braided hair, and she looks to each of you and she says, "Hello, hello, welcome to my shop. What can I do for you?"
Do you have anything exceptionally formal that would fit over top of armor?
Oh, of course. I have some fancy outfits. Not many folk usually come in for that. Usually they're looking for potions. That's mostly what I sell, but I just recently started to sell clothing as well. These are a few things that I got in from one of the ships, actually, that came in a couple of weeks back. And she begins pointing now to some of the tables that have arrangements that it looks like she has just recently put them together. Like, it looks like brand new, like very simple looking wooden tables. And she has a few like deep burgundy silk shirts. She has a couple of pairs of like flowy pantaloons that come up and have like breeches. I also sell the shoes. I have some fancy shoes, and I do have a couple of garments for ladies if you're looking for something. And she nods in the direction of Brunhild and Linda.
I typically find myself in a more of a bodyguard type role for formal event, but I still need to carry my armored equipment with me. Is there anything you have that would look good with that, or should I go in a different route?
Well, what type of you're going to a ball or a gala or just some sort of a regular well-to-do get-together?
You mean those are all the same thing?
Well, it depends on, folk, I suppose.
One moment. Zeta, which one are we going to?
Zito seems to be just sort of like spellbound, looking around at all of the crystal vials of potions that are lining the walls.
Did my earlier?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Zito.
I was saying that we were going to a merchant's party on a ship.
Yes, we're going to a party on a merchant ship. I guess that's a ball? I'm not sure.
And
More like a fancy dinner party.
oh, a dinner,
Yes.
a dinner party? Will they be dancing?
I do not dance.
Well, oh, my friend, you can dance if you want to. And the very pretty blonde elf is looking at you now and she sort of turns a bright shade of red as she stares at you for a bit, looking into your glowing red eyes, smoldering eyes. And she turns around and she begins pointing to different things. Well, these are no good for dancing, but these over here are good for all occasions, especially if you're just going to dinner. And she points to a couple of types of very fine clothing. And she says, how many sets? Will that be one for each of you?
Do you have any in kobold size?
Oh, honey, I have things in all sizes, small folk and large folk.
Alright,
Just the
so-
other day, I helped a minotaur set up a gentleman minotaur that came in and couldn't fit in the door, and I was able to work something out for him.
I'll take something in black and silver.
Oh, I'm sure I can accommodate you. And she turns and looks into each of you, giving some measurements, and she looks to each of you and she says, "Oh, just give me a few moments. Let's see. Oh, for you, love, your black and silver garments. For you, my small friend, you wanted some robes, I take it, or just perhaps some breeches and a shirt."
I'll take the breeches and a shirt, thank you.
And then she looks back first to Linda, who's wearing her robes from the university, and then looks to Brunhild, who's wearing her armor. And she looks to Linda first, says, "Oh, I've got something that'll look just lovely on you. It's sort of like a pink, off burgundy color." And then she turns and looks at you, Brunhild, and says, "You might be some trouble, young miss." And she takes out her measurement tape and she begins measuring your very broad shoulders. Might give me a moment as I go in the back and look for something. Altogether, we can settle up for about, let's see, there's 4 of you, 15 each, 60 gold will do.
I'll go ahead and pay it.
And I will put 4 sets of fine clothes into the party's inventory. Is she?
And do you have any ornaments to go along with these clothings? We need a dress to impress.
I'm not sure I quite understand you, love.
It's like, well, are there any like cufflets or any buttons or scarves or anything to go along with these outfits? Or
Oh, it's included in the cost, honey. And if you deduct the 60 from your gold there, you now have 4 sets of fine clothes in the inventory in the party sheet.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna leave my hammer at the house wearing this kind of stuff. I'll take my dagger with me though.
Well, is that all you would need? And you just watch as she comes out with this huge bundle of material, and she holds it up to you, Brunhild, and she says, "Now I've got a couple of different colors. If this isn't your color," and she holds up now. It's a very aquamarine colored dress. It's very frilly and it has several layers of veils below it.
I'd love anything blue that matches my hammer specifically.
Oh, well, I'm afraid that I don't have any dresses that come with a means of holding your weapons. I apologize. This is more for formal attire. Not many really meant for battle. I apologize.
Well, that's fine. I guess the color blue will have to do.
Very well. And she wraps everything up real nice, and then she packages it and she presents it to each of you after receiving payment. And I do hope to see you again, especially if you need any type of potions. I do carry many types of potions.
so, what type of potions do you have currently?
And she turns around and she says, "Well, let's see. I have this one right here is good for climbing. It gives you the ability to climb a great deal. I have a couple of your standard healing ilk. I have your standard. I have above standard. I have a potion that helps in terms of calming animals, in terms of appealing to animals, I should say. And I also have one that's particularly very popular with the sailors around here. This one allows you to breathe underwater."
I'll take one of those potions of water breathing. How much does that cost?
That'll run you 250 gold, love.
Of 250. Can we negotiate on that price?
Well, it appears your friend, he's just paid me for these clothing, and I do run a business. what were you willing to spend today on one?
How about 200?
200. Well, I tell you what. If you promise to come back soon and buy some more off of me, can let one go for 200.
I think you got a deal.
And she pulls out the potion, and the vial itself, it looks like it's filled with a cloudy green fluid. And there appears to be what looks like a bubble floating in it that looks like a jellyfish. And I will put that in your inventory, Zito.
By the way, would she happen to have a cane?
You mean like a walking stick?
Yes, but something very fancy. I'm thinking like a claw and ball.
And she says, well, I don't really have accessories like that. However, I believe the gentleman over at the Bent Nail, he can help you with that.
Thanks.
Would you be needing anything else?
I'm good.
Alright.
One more thing.
Yes, go ahead.
Can you take another one of these gold pieces and exchange it for 99 silver and 10 gold pieces? I'm sorry, 10 copper pieces.
She looks at you for a moment. She just sort of chuckles and opens up her register, and she takes it from you, and she begins counting out and exchanging it. I don't do that often, though. That's what they have banks for. But since you were so kind to spend so much here today, I'd gladly do that for you.
All right, thank you.
And in the sense of necessity, we'll just say that you were able to find a nice cane over at the Bent Nail, and they sold it to you for about 10 silver.
Sounds good. You know, you can't be dressed in all black and silver and not carry a cane.
Exactly. And we'll transition over to the dock ward. Byron and Nicholas find yourselves passing through the dock ward now, and you find yourselves passing through the crowd. Byron, you pull up your sending ring and reach out to the artificer and inquire as to when the item that you asked for earlier would be ready. And he informs you that Stone responds and informs you that he will deliver it to you this afternoon.
Okay. I'm gonna try to stay back in the blend in as well.
And what about you, Nicholas?
I'm gonna look at him doing the sunny sign and oh, what item did you ask for?
Something that I need.
So we can ask for items in the club?
Your mind is clouded.
Well,
So
I was curious what this club VIP membership entails. I was just curious. I guess we can go.
As the two of you are passing through the streets, passing between the lanes, you find yourselves getting closer to the dock ward, and you see several large ships docked. Some of them you can see many of the sailors are now making way, moving about the rigging. A few of the ships are now casting off from the docks and are casting off into the hilt, into the river properly. And you see two large ships that are lined up on either side of a dock at the end. And they seem to look quite a bit different from the other ships that have been coming in and out.
They double masted.
One, you one moment. Let's see.
Of course, I don't know much about ships, but
They look like your standard sailing ship.
so cargo or warship?
They look like your standard cargo ship, actually. The two that are docked.
They're just bigger than the others. Is that why they stand out?
Oh yeah, they're very very big. Like they're the type of ships that are a bit wider. Like they sort of taper off the as they get closer. As you're looking at the waterline, you can see that it sort of tapers a bit as the ship plunges. The edges of the ship and the bow and the bottom of the ship go into the river.
Do they have both a forecastle and a rear?
They do. They have a fore and an aft.
They buy these ships?
Sorry there, Derek. You cut out. All I heard was something about ships.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hello.
Does it look like there's patrols guarding those ships?
You see several sailors that are milling about, coming in and off of the ships. You actually see a couple of animals that are being led onto one of the ships right now. Like you see a couple horses. You see a bear who is not in a cage. He has a collar, and this bear is following behind one of the sailors, like a couple of feet behind the sailor, like not on a chain. And interesting to note, most of the individuals that you've seen coming in and off of each of the ships appear to be males.
See that, Byron? Interesting. Do I get a sense that these are the ships owned by him?
Do they have any banners or?
I apologize. I meant to tell you earlier, they have 3 masts. That's how big they are.
Gangplank or 2? Or they tied both 4 and a half?
Sorry there, you cut out. All I heard was something about gangplank.
Sorry about that. Do they have multiple gangplanks, or only one gangplank leading to each ship? Or are they linked together? Like, do they have a gangplank between the 2 ships as well?
No, it appears like there is one per ship on either side of the dock. And it's wide enough that it looks like it's wide enough that you can pull material on and off, like large boxes can be rolled in and off on carts.
And this is all part of the traveling zoo or whatnot? Traveling circus?
Well, from what Siegfried has told you about this place has been referred to as the Sea Maidens Fair. And all that he told you about the place was that it is essentially it's a place that, God, wow, that seagull is annoying, isn't it? That it's a carnival because he, being a member of his house and being part of the carnival,
Does it look like there's an area that's more in the shadow or less guarded or less patrolled?
Sorry, my audio cut out there for a moment. There is a steady stream of traffic coming in and off of the ships. And it appears to you like the only way in or off of the ship are the gangplanks, which are currently connected to that level of the ship. Or the main deck, if you will.
And are there windows in the back of the ship where the captain quarters would be?
Yes, you do see several windows on the back of the ship, where one would assume a captain's cabin would be.
All right. Anything you want to look at, Nick?
And it looks to you like both sailing ships are almost identical in terms of design, shape, and size. And they both appear to be flying the same colors.
Does either ship act like it's preparing for a party tonight or expecting?
Make a perception check.
Can I help him?
Sure.
Roll with advantage.
With a cursory glance, it does not look like either one of these ships, just looking at it, does not look like it's going to be casting off anytime soon. And just looking at the folk who are milling about the outside of the docks, the folk that are moving up to the ship, it doesn't look like you see any supplies over what you would assume to be food being brought on board. You see a few sailors with some standard tarpaulin sacks that are walking around. Many of them, some of them give you a little bit of a side eye as they walk by you. Nicholas, unless you're stealthing.
Do you want us to roll stealth checks?
Yeah, I would say at this point you probably should roll a stealth check.
Okay.
Well, both of us?
Yeah, if you're both trying to be sneaky.
Yeah, we are.
So with the crowd milling about on the docks, it's a large crowd, and it's very easy for the two of you to go unnoticed amongst the crowd as you're both giving the various individuals that are milling about on the docks a good look once over. Another thing that you noticed, Byron, and this is something that you have confirmed as you've been staring at the ship and the sailors on the ships, that the sailors on the ships, the sailors that are milling about and taking things on and off the ships, are talking to one another and speaking as what you would normally see. You see them speaking to each other, a couple of them yelling at each other, sending curse words this way and that way. As you look and stare for a little while, looking at the individuals who are in the rigging on the ship and milling about on the main deck and on the aft of the ship, it appears that they are not speaking to each other, but making signs with their hands. Like they seem to be primarily communicating with each other with sign language.
Okay.
Hey, you see anything? Alright.
And both of you are remembering that there is a third ship, which does not appear to be here at the dock.
Well, maybe needing the third ship. Oh. Maybe that's where they're having it, because it does.
Yeah, doesn't look like they're having a party here. I wonder where this third ship is. It might be in the river. wonder how they transport the nobles to the ship. If it's in the
Do I know anyone in the like the dock man? Uh,
In terms of like someone that you know personally that works on the docks,
correct.
I suppose you could just like talk to one of the sailors that are milling about around the docks. You personally don't know anyone, like a single individual that spends most of their time on the dock ward. You do know, of course, your friend who drives a carriage who passes through this area fairly regularly.
I'll reach out to him a little bit later and find out if he has any scheduled pickups to drop off at the party, or if he's dropped anyone off this past week for such type things, or where they might go.
You have noticed, looking at the ship, that on the rear of the ship you see the names of each ship spelled out in gold filigree. And the first one, the one to your left, staring at the rear of the ship, says the Heartbreaker. And the one to the right says the Hellraiser. And of course you remember from the note that was given by the High Inquisitor that the ship that you were meant to dine on is called the Eyecatcher.
Yeah, these both aren't the ships. Like I said, I don't see it. On a quick glance, do we see any ships named the Eyecatcher in dock?
Well, the Heartbreaker and the Hellraiser look very similar to each other. You don't see any other ships of that size docked currently in the area.
Are there any ships out in the bay or anything like that that are anchored?
Do you have a spyglass?
No.
You don't see any fitting that description just in the general vicinity of the waters that are out. But you do see off in the distance on the horizon, you can see specks of ships. A few of them, actually. They're just too far away for you to make out from this distance.
Okay.
Well, Byron, wanna go swimming?
No. We have a guy that can fly his little carriage around and find the ship.
Well, is that stealthy though?
He's just taking a fare over the water.
Okay, all right, I like it.
Or he'll be by himself.
Should we use our rings to get him? Come over and pick us up?
Well, I don't have contact with the Warforged. Aren't you like his buddy or something? He's like the Siegfried.
Siegfried, I think he has a Sending Stone. What if we pay for a fare across the river?
Is there something that would make sense for us to skirt around the water to go to, or not?
In what way?
Oh, so that we can see what other ships are out anchored.
You mean, is there a way to get out to the water from where you're at?
Oh, we can take a sky coach and then fly around.
That's true, you could take a sky coach.
Is there a place across the river that we like? Is there like a part of the city across the river, or is it just open water?
It's just open water. All you see is open water to the horizon. And you can, of course, see off, really far off in the distance, you can just make out the hazy shape of the shore across the hilt. But it's far too far out for you to determine exactly how far away it is.
And no knowledge of that's just land that's not in the city, that's like outside the city.
Correct. That has nothing to do with the city. It's not connected to Sharn in any way.
Yeah, Byron, I don't think we can get a sky coach because there's no way to, there's no excuse to give them unless we tell them we want to go be.
What, for the driver or for?
Well, the other issue, what he's referring to, Byron, is that sky coaches don't work outside of Sharn.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a sky coach, and the reason for that is Sharn is what is known as a manifest zone, which is how they're able to build the towers as tall as they can. It's connected to the elemental air plane, which is why they're able to operate sky coaches. And the manifest zone stretches out to cliffside, but if you were to attempt to fly in a sky coach out over the water, it would eventually fall out of the sky into the river.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah, we might need to get a boat.
Well, with that in mind, yeah, since I assume I'd have pretty good. Is there like a boat or a skiff that's near those two ships that would go out?
You see boats that are attached to the sides and mounted to the side of the hull on both ships. It looks like a longboat. And of course there's tons of boats that are docked around the ward.
Nothing with her symbol though?
Just what is currently attached to the side of the hull. Sort of it's like a dark wood, almost pitch black with like gold filigree.
And what time is it now?
Right now it is, let's see. It is currently 8 a.m. Or no, excuse me, it's 9 a.m. It's been a few hours. Like you guys spent some time having breakfast, talking to each other, talking to the folk in the manor, and then of course making your way down. It's approximately 9 a.m.
Alright. I'll wait for a couple more hours, watch the scene, and then I'll head.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to do the same, Nicholas?
Yeah, I'm gonna be with them, Brianna. Shoot the breeze.
All right. And on that note, we will transition back to our friends back at the shop at Trollskull. Back in Trollskull Alley, the rest of you have finished most of your shopping, and you're now standing outside of a place known as the Tiger's Eye. And the only distinguishing mark of this facade, it appears to be an orange and black sign featuring cat's eyes. And as you approach the door, you notice it appears to be locked. And Linda looks at the three of you and she says, you have to ring the bell before you can be let in.
Fair enough. Let's ring it. And I'm going to go ring the bell.
Okay. As you ring the bell, you hear this the very distinct ring, ring. And from outside looking in, you can see that the interior of the apartment appears to be dimly lit by a couple of oil lamps. And you hear the sound of the locks being turned, several in succession. And then you hear a man saying, "Just a moment." And the door is open and you see a human man, and he is dressed in a very sharp suit, and he's currently smoking a slim pipe.
Is it as sharp as my suit with my new cane?
It's not quite as sharp as your suit. This one looks like it's something that he's worn for possibly a day or two.
Okay. Hey, how?
Can I help you?
Yeah, Lydia. Do we have something?
And Linda apologizes. It's Linda, Samael. It's quite all right. Mr. Trench, hello. It's me, Miss Wrighton. I believe you're friends with Byron, my beloved. I know Byron. What can I do for you? Well, these folk, they were possibly wanting to ask a few questions. Maybe there's some information that you might know that you could share with them for something they're working on. Well, come inside. Right away. And he steps back and he allows you all to enter the apartment.
Zito will walk into the apartment.
And as you all step inside, you see another warm lit fire, and he closes the door behind you and locks it. And then you see that he has a desk. There's a few seating areas. You have a small 2-seat love seat, and then there's a couple of chairs that are spaced evenly in front of the desk. And you can see that the place is fairly clean for the most part. There's various odds and ends and bits, books lining his walls, and he walks up and you see him has a crystal dish on the desk, and he offers a bit of candy to each of you. Well, you want some licorice? It's still good. I don't eat the stuff. I hate it, but I keep it for the kids mostly.
I declined.
So,
I love licorice.
no, be my guest. So, what can I do for you?
And so we were wondering if you knew anything about a man named Zarzad Zord.
Zord. I don't know that name, but I have heard of a man named Zardoz. Zardoz Zord.
Zardoz Zord, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah. He's the gentleman that runs the Sea Maidens Fair, the seafaring carnival that travels around the coast. What about him? What do you want to know?
Well, we were invited to attend one of his dinner parties tonight, and we would like to know a little more about the man.
Oh, that's curious.
Why is that curious?
Well, you four don't really seem like the type that he would invite to his ship.
What is that
Is that-
type?
Well, typically
I'm just a
he prefers to invite rich folk, like various nobles and individuals of wealth and power.
Yes, you mean members like the 60?
Yeah, the 60 family, of course, and of course other folk from all over Corvair and have been known to travel to Sean to treat with him. Curious about his benefactor.
Who is his benefactor?
Oh, he was mentioned in the paper. It was a very strange fellow. Goes by the name Never Caught.
Never caught.
Yep. I've personally never met the man or seen him, but I have heard that he's had some doings. Well, tried his hand at becoming the next Lord Mayor, and of course they did not choose him. They decided to choose Leral Il Nuaxla instead. To my knowledge, he has continued to try to make a name for himself in Shan. But he is the owner of the Sea Maidens Fair. I believe this Zord runs it for him, the master of the carnival, if you will. And the carnival itself is quite interesting. It's not affiliated with any of the houses, the entertainers' guilds. It seems to be completely self-sufficient.
And where are these carnivals perform? Do they perform on the ship, or do they perform in a similar district?
Or the ships, they and he sort of looks at you and he kind of leans forward. He's like, "You're good for this, right? I've given you a lot of information here, and you're friends of Byron, and that's fine, but don't press your luck. I do run a business here. I'm willing to share as much information as I can with you as a courtesy to Byron, but what exactly is your intentions here?"
We're not entirely sure yet.
Okay.
You know, all that we know is that the fate of a friend may be on the line of this dinner tonight.
Or serious. Okay. Well. And he's continuing to chew on the end of his pipe. He pulls it out of his mouth, and you can see there's several indentations in the wood. And he puts it back in. And he says, "Well, the carnival, they've been taking floats and animals and automatons off of the ships, and they hold parades all throughout Cliffside. And so far, they haven't gone into Sean. They've kept it in Cliffside." Was there anything else you wanted to know?
I think I have everything that I want.
Okay. What
Anything else that
about the
you
rest
guys
of
need
you?
to ask?
I mean, you look like serious folk. You're not planning on murdering this man, are you?
Actually,
no, not at all.
I'm hoping we go in there, have a nice night, and leave without incident. So
I mean,
yeah.
if you're looking for trouble, as long as you're not bringing trouble to this man, I sincerely doubt you're going to find trouble.
We're not looking for trouble, but we are looking to help one of our friends, and there's something this man has that could possibly help us with that. Like I said, we're not looking for trouble, but if we find out that he's the root of the trouble, we will cut it out.
Well, I sincerely hope that you can handle it when you do. These are some serious folk.
Yeah, so are we.
Indeed. Well, if there's nothing else I can offer you, unless this is something that you wanted me to investigate for you, I don't see why we need to continue to talk to each other. And he starts to stand up from his table now, getting ready to usher you out of his apartment. Linda, it was a pleasure to see you again. And he turns to look at each of you. Are you all getting up now from your seats, or are you wanting to ask him more questions?
I have a question.
Yes, sir. Dwarven lass, what can I do for you?
Where did you obtain this delicious licorice?
Oh, I bought it off of a goblin. There's apparently he was bringing in shipments of food stores and spices and from one of the islands of the Lantanese principalities all the way up to the northeast, and apparently one of his ships was one of the two ships that was sunk out in the